Hey, good morning, everybody. This is DeEtte Ranae here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. Now, this is a radio show to explore different people's lives, their journeys, and how spirit has impacted it. Now, I do talk to people from um, different modalities of spirituality and others that have found spirit to have impacted their lives. Now, each week I do start the show with a discussion that spirit gave me, and then I kind of go right into my guest. Now, this week is Kevin Killen. Kevin is a big time paranormal investigator, which I think is really cool. Really, really cool. But before we start there, I really want to, hey, good morning, Brenda. How are you? As everybody knows, I'm loving this already. You don't even know. Good morning. As everybody knows, I'm sharing right now all over the place, just so everybody knows. We have got a new system that we started working with last week called StreamYard. Now, I know other people, have used it a lot, everything else, but it's really new to us. Okay, it's really new to us. So basically, I want to let you know, your comments are a little delayed to me, but hopefully, if it works as well as it did last week, it's going to shoot right across the screen for me to see for those that are watching live. Okay. If you're on the radio show, you still have to do those the old-fashioned way and go through the station, and then my producer will send them over to me. Okay. Just so I want to give everybody a heads up, and it has something to do with my discussion today. And it's really funny, and I'll tell you a minute about that. But heads up, my granddaughter, who's 4 and adorable, and her name is Addie, Adeline. She's going to be coming in. She might say hi because it's her first day of pre-K, like summer school pre-K. So she's going to come and say hi to me, give me a hugs and kisses goodbye, and probably say hi to everybody here. Okay. So when you hear that cute little voice, you'll know what it is. Okay. So as always, I also wanted to just kind of do an upbeat, just so everybody know we are on StreamYard here, which is phenomenal. We are streaming to Facebook. We are streaming to Twitch, and we are streaming to Twitter. Oh my God. And as always, after the show, when this is complete, it's going to get switched into a podcast form. Okay. And if you are like finding out any time in this show that you want to hear the whole thing, you want to share it with your friends, you don't know where to go, I'm going to tell you right now. Look for Schooled Thru Spirit, and you can find that on Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, I think Apple Podcasts, Podbeam, Spotify, excuse me. Just basically go to your favorite podcast, Google, see if I'm there. There's a good chance I am. If I'm not, I'm just one over. Okay, I'm just one over. It's not just, you know what? And as my granddaughter says, sharing is caring. So make sure you share these videos out. Make sure if you're listening right now, just hit the share button, get it out, see how many other people want to watch and listen. Okay. Now, with all that being said, I have to tell you, I sat there last night going, Spirit, what am I supposed to talk about? Spirit, what am I supposed to talk about? And I didn't hear anything. And I thought, oh my God. And then I did the same thing this morning because I literally woke up going, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You guys haven't told me what am I going to talk about today? Because, I really got to rely on them to do this part of the show. And right when I came into the temporary, office here, it's a temporary, as I've explained to everybody, just a short relocation while we're redoing the other office. I went to set everything up, and I heard, where do you go from here? And it was loud as can be. I'm like, oh my God, such an awesome topic. And it really does, it makes sense to me for so many levels, because like in my personal life, my career is changing right now. It's always changing. And I always have that question, where am I going to go from here? My granddaughter, she's 4. She's been at home. I've been watching her. It's been amazing. She's had me and her mommy all summer, which is awesome. But now she's starting to go to school. So that's a where's my life going type moment. Where am I going from here? Like, life is not normal as I know it. And then again, like last night, and I've heard this a few times from my students. Matter of fact, I hear it quite often from my students. We finish a class and it's, where do we go? What are we doing next? So I tell them. Now, oddly enough, my advanced students, the second set of advanced 2 students, finished last night, and their question to me was, "Where do we go from here?" I feel like we're just getting cut loose to fly away from the nest. I had to giggle. I went, "Hey guys, you still have your retreat. It's okay. Y'all signed up. I'll see you in September for the retreat. It's all good." But it is true. It is, where do we go from here? Where are we going? What's next? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do without that structure? What am I supposed to do without um things being like detailed for me? Where am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to trust? Okay. Now that's really big. That's huge if you think about it. It really is big and it's huge if you want. And I'm going to detail out this off my own life, so that, because my own life is probably the best way for me to explain it to you, at least for this portion of it. So when I sit back and I think, over my life, how many times I've thought, where do I go now? What do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do now? And I'll tell you what, still do that now. I still do it. And here I am flying free on my own, and I still will do that. Like, where do I go from now? Okay. Um, I will tell you what, from my own personal experience, the best thing is really to keep your eyes and your ears open and your senses open. Why? Because Spirit's going to tell you. And I will tell you what, they always tell. Whether it be from, if you're a person that hears, or you're a person that sees, maybe you're a person that feels, maybe you're a person that just knows things, but they're always going to let you know. And when I say Spirit, I do mean your guides. Your guides are always going to jump in. They're always going to tell you where to go, what to do next. You're going to have an inkling. You're going to have this brilliant idea that just goes, dee, and just boom, earth shatters your brain. Oh my God, you see, I made pancakes. I dyed them and my hands for breakfast this morning. Sorry for that. But and that was for everybody that can see me, not just hear me. But when I talk about where do you go next? Now, for myself, it's pretty big, because I am always like, what is next? What am I doing next? What is going to happen? And I have found, if I don't necessarily ask those questions, I don't always get an answer back. I don't, because I'm not asking the question. Now you can free fly it. You can. And there's so many people that free fly that. And it's awesome how they do it. I used to do that when I was working as a nurse. I free flow that all the time. I had structure throughout my days when I was going to work. Um, I worked agency for 21 years. So literally the agency would call and, basically point out, give me a list of hours and places that I could, work at. I would, confirm to whichever places I would go. I'd come home. I had a motorcycle shop. I worked in there. I had my kids. It was all, free flying, no direction really, just, for myself, it wasn't goal setting, it wasn't directions. It was just very much, living that paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Okay. I will tell you what, it wasn't the most fulfilling thing to do. Since I switched it around now, and it is because of the mediumship work that I do and the teaching that I do, that has changed. But now I do have the direction of what's next. What's another goal? Where's my growth spot? What am I going to do more? Okay. So literally, I will sit there and I'll say to Spirit, "Oh my God, what's next? Where am I supposed to be going?" And then I just wait for literally the signs to come in. Okay. Now the sign might be thoughts in my head, like recently. And this has only been, and let's take it back a little bit more than that. Um, let's take it back a little bit further. Let's go way back with this, with what's going on right now. Because I asked that question quite a while ago. What's next? What's next? And literally, Spirit, had a reading with somebody. And I heard about that book. And I went, yeah, I've heard about that book I'm supposed to write for a while now. Like I'm not going to write no book, blah, blah, blah. And then it was, you have a lot of information you need that's going to help a lot of people. And I went, okay, well, whatever. I'm not going there. Anyway, that same book came up over a few more times over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And eventually Spirit gave me the title of the book, and I went, okay. Still not going to write it because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, about 3 weeks ago, some of my students had to go through test readings with me. And I know they weren't talking with each other, but that book kept coming up. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I finally went to Spirit. I said, you know what, Spirit? If this book is going to be written, you better tell me how to write it. You better tell me how to write it. So I don't know which direction to go. You're going to have to tell me what's next. How am I supposed to write the? Thank you for the title. That really didn't help me much. And it was so funny because I left it. I just literally put it out there, left alone, whatever. Never felt I would get a sign back or anything back. And I never laughed. So I actually had to sit very humbled the next day, very humbled the next day, and go, ugh, because another student from somebody else gave me a reading who doesn't have a clue who I am in another country. Literally, here you go, sits down, doesn't know what kind of reading she's going to give me, gives me the opportunity to tell her what I want. If I want mediumship, if I want psychic, I said, let's go psychic. And I'm not telling you, oh my God, she sat down and she told me all about this book again. I thought, oh my God, this book. But she told me how to write it. She told me how to write the thing. She goes, they're telling me to start at the end and then go to the beginning. Then write the headlines of your chapters. It's going to be a guideline on what to do. And I went, guess that's what's next. Well, I sat there and went, okay, I accept. Okay, finally I accept. But literally, about a week later went by and I struggled and I still hadn't done anything with it. And I went, Spirit, I still don't know what's next. I still don't know. I know you've told me all this and blah, blah. I still don't know what's next. I don't know what is next. Even with this book, what's next? I mean, I still don't know what you really want me to write about. I mean, what part of my life is really going to help anybody? And that's basically what I was saying. And I laid down that night to go to bed. And I'll tell you what, they wrote the first chapter in my brain. They literally, verbatim, word for word, wrote the first chapter in my brain. And it was like, okay, now I know what's next. So literally the next day I came into the office, and I'll tell you, the only way I've gotten so far is I know what the first chapter is in my brain. I know what the last chapter in my brain, because they've detailed it all to me. But I sat down, wrote down the title of the book, got up Word, and wrote down, each I literally did an index, a glossary type index, whatever you want to call it. Whoosh, there you go. Of what each chapter is, the name of each chapter and what it's about. And I'll tell you what, that outline came out in about, let me see, I was on hold with the Illinois toll system. So as long as you're on hold with them is how long it took me, which really wasn't that long, probably about 14, 15 minutes. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it took me longer to find the template than it did to write down what these chapters were. And then I was blown away. Because my other question is, what is this book? What is it about? What's the meaning of it? Why do I need to write this book? Like, why? Why am I going there? What is next with this? What is this? And when I got done, I counted the chapters. There was 11 of them. 11 chapters. So what's next is the beginning. 11 means beginning. The start of something fresh, first, the beginning. So what's next for me? The beginning. Kind of like starting all over with a whole lot more wisdom and knowledge. And it's a very subtle way for them to give me the message. So with me telling you this story, I want you to understand that what's next is always going to be told to you. No matter how much you fight with them. And trust me, I'm a fighter. Matter of fact, I have friends, like my friend, y'all know her, Maria Celeste. Love her dearly. Love Maria. And I call her up. I'm talking about Maria. And I'm not, oh my God, I got to tell you this crazy story. And you know what she says to me? I hope you're listening. You better be listening. I hope you're listening to them. And I'm like, I am. And it's funny because literally that's what I need to do, is just listen. Just sit back and listen because they're going to do that for me. And I will tell you what, because as soon as that book is written, I'll tell and it's funny because I had already I'm putting horses carts before horses, and I've got the dirt before the cart before the horse in this whole process. Because remember, all I've done is outline this thing, and I'm already going, but what's next? When I write the book, what's next? What do I do? So it's a beginning, but what's next? And it's funny because I was talking to Leslie Sampson. Remember her? By the way, she's coming out again in October. Leslie Sampson's the lady that wrote the book about twin flames. So, and she's a friend of mine. So I got a hold of her and said, "Oh my God, Leslie, I'm doing this. I don't even know where I'm going to send this thing when it's done." You know what? Here you go. Here's a list. You're crazy, right? Really? Really? You know what? So she's got a whole list of places I can send this thing when it's done for publication to see if anybody would accept it. Anybody would take it on. So my what next is already there. Before I could ask the question of what's next, there's my answer. All I have to do is sit back, trust that answer is going to come in. That's it. That's it. That's it. It is really that simple. Sit back, wait, and trust. Because I'll tell you what, the answer is always going to be there. Okay? I've even asked them what is going to happen after I write the book. They've already showed me what's going to go on with the book. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And you know what? That's putting the rocks beneath the dirt in front of the cart, in front of the horses, way out there. And they've already shown me what they're going to do with this. They've also shown me children's books. And I'm like, really? Children's books? Okay. Okay. I guess I'll do it. I'll do it. Why? Because I've asked the spirit, what's next? And my guides show me this, what's next? These are the next steps. They let me know, one, I'm not alone, and two, I'm always going to have a direction to go in. Always I'm going to have a direction to go in. Now, I may not always know the direction because on my teaching half, I don't know the direction. I'm not flying by the seat of my pants. Sorry, this camera is mirroring itself and it's driving me batty. I may not always know the direction of which it's going, but what I can do is keep doing the best job I can and watch it pave itself in front of me. And I know you guys are like, what do you mean pave it? I literally have this I literally have this vision in my head. And it's funny because I didn't get this vision until gosh, maybe a year ago. Maybe a little longer than that. But it made life easier. I was sitting there on Facebook, sitting on Facebook, scrolling and watching the videos, just watching videos on Facebook. And I was totally blown away because I was watching them make somebody in someplace, some country, I don't even know if it was, I don't know where it was, but they had this great big long machine, and I swear it was as wide as a road. It was big. And literally, there's a guy on top of the machine, and they're just feeding bricks into this machine. Okay? They're feeding bricks into this machine. And the machine themselves is organizing the bricks and laying the bricks. I mean, one row at a time, laying the bricks down on the road. Something that would take a man hours, if not days, to do, this machine was doing in moments. All the man on top had to do was turn the machine on, feed it bricks, feed it knowledge, and allow the machine to pave the road. It's that simple. It's that simple. Do the best you can at what you do. Feed yourself that knowledge and allow the opportunities to come to you and take them and let your life be paved. It really is that simple. It's amazingly simple. We don't have to struggle to know which direction to go. We don't have to struggle to figure out what life is going to take us. Okay? I will tell you though, you might have to sit back and do a little bit of work for yourself. I mean, you can't say, I want to open up a business. Say, I want to sell rocks, but never find out what kind of rocks you want to sell. Find out if you want a brick and mortar store, if you want an online store. Find where your rocks come from. Figure out the pricing of your rocks. You're still going to have to do all the work. Trust me, you're going to have to do the work. You have to put it in. Spirit's not just going to come and treat you like the wicked witch, the witch of the west, and just and land a building on top of you. It's just not going to work. Well, it might. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't, but it doesn't normally work that way. You do still have to put in the work. Okay, so straight up, let's just take it from the psychic mediumship business. There's a lot of us out here. There really is. But if you want to do this and you want to do this full time, and you know what, get your education. And I do mean education, because you know what, growth comes with education. Now, this doesn't mean you're not spirit trained, because by golly, trust me, spirit's there every step of the way. But it does mean that you might have to get some education. Ooh, let's get some light on the subject. You might have to get some education, okay? And what I mean by education, I do mean that you might have to go out. God, that's really bright. You might have to go out and, read some books. You might have to watch some YouTube videos. You might have to take a class or two. And it's not that we aren't able to do readings, but trust me, the more you have in your back pocket for education, for tools, the better you're going to be out here. And the more you're going to grow, the more you're simply going to grow. So number one, get some education on some aspect, find out what the words integrity mean, authenticity mean. Pretty huge there. Next thing you're going to want to do is get some business cards, maybe. I mean, business cards are kind of a plus. Maybe maybe make a Facebook site or a website. Get a business license, get business insurance, put your name out there, get some sponsorship on Facebook. These are all things that you can do for you to start a business. Maybe, look up wellness events. Go do a few of them. Find out which direction you're going to go. Get your name out there. It's all about that direction. You are going to have to do a little bit of footwork. It is what it is. You're not going to be able to do this all on your own, but you are going to need some footwork, okay? But I will tell you what, every step of the way, you can ask Spirit, what should I do? They're going to be there. They're going to help you. Hold on one second. Come here. I told everybody you were coming to say bye. Oh, my God. And say hello. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Alan, and it's my first day of school.
There you go. Can I have a kiss? Mwah. You have a good day. I see you when you get home. You can turn the light on. Thank you. It's perfect. Have a great first day, honey. So, sorry, guys. I warned you. She's just a doll, though. I love her. So, you know what? You do have to put some of that work in. You do have to put what is that first foot in. You have to, you do have to think about, what's my business plan? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Okay, so I'm a medium. So here I am. And I've had my business going. Okay. I have a successful business doing psychic and mediumship readings. I do them at my home via Zoom or phone. Or I do them in person for people that request them, or in my local area. Okay, I do teach. I do face-to-face teachings. I do Zoom teachings, which is awesome. I also turn around and, I have the radio show. God, that fell in my lap. I don't know how many times we have to talk about how that fell in my lap. Okay, and it did fall in my lap, but it's not like I got here. Trust me, it's by the grace of God. But I still had my producer training me every step of the way. And then a lot of practice throughout a year to get to the point where I'm at. And I can't imagine, if I keep working at this, where it'll be in a year. Oh my gosh, that's huge. Okay. Now, and it's just pushing and growing and going, what's next? Okay, you want to give me a book? Great. That's next. I mentor some people for TV. I've done 2 now. One currently, one already has been done. There you go. That's what's next. I told Spirit I didn't want anything to do with paranormal. Next thing you know, I'm doing a sign. I'm going down paranormal investigations. It may not be anything big, but it's enough to get me started to go, okay, is this what's next? And if it is, Spirit will, push me in that direction. But I have to show up to know what's next. I have to show up always. You have to show up. You have to ask the questions, what next? What do I do next? How do I do this? Trust me, Spirit's going to be there. It's almost like a conversation in your head. I mean, for me, it is a conversation in my head. I mean, some people might think I'm going crazy, but it's a conversation in my head. What do I do next? And they're always going to plop it in. You don't have to have fear. I mean, it can be healthy fear, but not fear that's paralyzing. You don't have to have, be felt like you have to stop or be put on hold. Okay? Just keep pushing forward. It's really amazing. It's what's next, which is really super amazing. Okay? The journey is out there. These are the moments when you look back, as long as you keep asking the questions and as long as you keep working on what is being given to you, your life is going to be one heck of a journey. You can always ask, oh my God, what's next? What am I supposed to do next? Oh my God, I don't even know. I've completed this. What's next in my life? Oh my God, I'm already done with this. Where am I supposed to be going? That's fine. Trust me, that's fine. But be open to hear the answers. Be open. Okay? And like we've talked so many times, it can be, you're going to hear it in your head. For me, I hear things. It's like the ideas just my brain hearing everything. And it's mind-blowing. Some people might just get a visual. Might just get the visual. And that's okay, because you know what? Visuals will tell you where to go, which way to go to. 110%. That gut feeling, oh my God, I need to do this. Also huge. Pay attention to your senses, guys. Pay attention to them, because Spirit uses them to speak to you all the time. All the time. They use that to speak to you all the time. Okay, so pay attention to it. And you're always going to know where to go next. Every single time, you're going to know where to go next. Okay? So with that being said, I've got a break coming. I'm going to go get coffee, some donuts. I'll be back. Kidding. What I will tell you, though, what's next for me is interviewing Kevin Killen. He's pretty awesome. I believe he's an author. You're going to see his book on the intermission here, the break in between. He's a paranormal investigator. He's all about this stuff, and I cannot wait to share his story, where he started and where it's gotten him to. Okay? We're going to ask him how he's followed on his own trail. So I'll see you back here in a moment here with DeEtte Ranae here on Schooled Thru Spirit, WLTK Digital Radio.
A book of mystery, a book of one man's journey, a book of the afterlife, a book you must read. Ghost and Me by 5-time award-winning author Kevin Killen is a book of one man's journey in the search of the afterlife. Read of his chilling childhood experience, his investigative journeys, and his opinions of paranormal activity. Ghost and Me by Kevin Killen, an Ozark Mountain publication. Get your copy today online or wherever books are sold. Paranormal evidence. We scour the internet searching for true paranormal captures, information, and education. New methods mixed with old methods of capturing this mysterious phenomenon. Well, look no further for your ghostly voices than ghostly-voices.com. Nicole Tito and Lisa Crick take you on a journey into their paranormal world and provide you with true EVP and ITC audio captures, compelling information on debunking, some hilarious bloopers, and more. Remember, these two are veterans in the field and know how to capture the true evidence you are looking for. Ghostly-voices.com, your paranormal stop for true audio evidence. Ghostly-voices.com.
Hey, welcome back to Schooled Thru Spirit. I'm DeEtte Ranae, your host here on WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. I'm asking my producer, where is my guest? Because I was expecting him to be here when I got back. I love it. I love it. No clue. That's okay. We're going to keep talking because, and we're going to just keep talking back on the subject and see if he shows up. And if he doesn't, it's okay. I got a mouth God gave me and we'll keep using it. Okay. So basically, I was giggling a little bit because, as you just seen, you've seen and or heard, if you were on just the radio, you heard it. If you've seen it, it's pretty awesome. That is the advertising now. That is the advertising for the show. Do you love it? I love the new advertising. So, you know how I've told you, and I've screamed it from the rafters going, oh my God, you need to advertise with us. That might be some of what you're getting. Just as so. So while we were sitting there talking, it was so funny because that's going on, and we're learning as we go here with some of this new stuff. And as I was watching it, I seen this image, and I literally said to my producer, Todd, I'm like, oh my God, is that Edinburgh, Manor? And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And he wrote back, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh my God, that's too cool because that's where I'm going this weekend. And I have to sit there and go, oh my God, that's just like, I'm going to send Kevin a message here. So basically, Edinburgh Manor is it's an asylum, and it's over in Iowa. And I don't want to say it's an insane asylum, but it's an asylum that's very, very haunted. And it is a building, and I'm going to actually kind of Google it for you so I can tell you. I don't want to mess this up because I want to tell you all about it. Edinburgh. That is a city within a country. So let's hit the right button here. So Edinburgh Manor. It's pretty cool. He's coming in now. It's pretty cool. It's located in Jones County, Iowa. Okay, and it's full of history. It's called Edinburgh Manor. It was country living at its best. Now, what this used to be back in the day is it's been many different things. It's been now it's an asylum. He says, "Oh man, sorry about that. He'll be in here soon." I'm trying to find the history on this place. Hey, he's here. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Fabulous. I'm just talking about Edinburgh Manor.
Oh,
a little bit.
Okay.
First, before we talk about that, introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. My name is Kevin Killen. I am the author of Ghosts and Me, which is basically my paranormal memoir. It follows me through my history of paranormal events from the time I was 5 years old all the way up to current time. It was published about 2 years ago, so I still have plenty of paranormal events. So it's one of my favorite things. So here I am.
Awesome. We are going to talk about Edinburgh Manor, just so you know. I don't know. Have you been there or no?
No, I've heard about it and I've read some stuff about it. I've never been there though.
Awesome. I'm going this weekend.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I'm jealous.
I've done one in Sheboygan. It was kind of like a tour where they do the ghost hunting. This is going to be my first one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Kind of nerve wracking.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Before we get there, though, because I do want to ask you some pointers, because as a newbie going in, and I know everybody else is going to want to hear those things, but I want to hear about your story. How did you start doing this?
I'm sorry, as far as the paranormal or?
Paranormal. Yeah, the paranormal. How did you get interested? I mean, even if it started at 5, how did you get interested in this?
Yeah, well, my first experience was actually I was living outside of Chicago with my family. We had one of those big brick rambling houses, the 1900s,
Ooh,
creepy Addams Family type homes. I look back on it now thinking that's probably exactly what it was. But so, one day my father was a journalist, and he took my older brothers with him to an assignment. It was just me and my mother, and I heard footsteps upstairs, clear, distinct footsteps on a wooden floor. And I turned to my mother and I said, "Who's that?" And my mom said, "Well, that's my little boy." And that didn't make any sense to me because I was, as far as I knew, I was the only little boy in the house. But she told me later she thought somebody broke in,
oh,
and she was scared because she heard him too, obviously. So, but yeah, that was my first experience, and I've had experiences ever since. I am empathic, so I think that's one. I'm developing that skill to know that I think that's one of the reasons that I do have a lot of paranormal experiences continually, because I am empathic. And
okay.
I'm maybe a little bit psychic. I'm still exploring that, but I'm definitely empathic. I do know that.
Awesome. Well, everybody's psychic, just so you know. Everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
To what
yeah. They have,
degree,
I think,
who
a little
knows?
bit, right?
Yeah, trust me, I teach. That's my forte. So, so where have you found, as you got older, that paranormal experience? How did you go from somebody that had those experiences to somebody that writes a book about all of it? Where is the interim in between and all that?
It was just basically, time after time, just having these experiences and wanting to know, why. Back then when I was, I'll be pushing 50 this year,
Okay.
which to me is I'll say this first. I almost died 2 years ago,
Okay.
having a massive heart attack. So every year
Oh,
now, I appreciate life more, and that is not a cliche. That is true. And the
yeah.
only reason I say that is because I've gone on other shows and talked about, I didn't see the white light. I didn't have all my relatives waiting at the bed, but
Right.
I felt kind of cheated. But however, after talking to some people, the experience I did have was a near death,
Right.
even still. So I was like that.
Mhm.
So again, I appreciate everything more now than it was before. But so in the 80s, when I was growing up, 80s and early 90s, of course, you had very few shows, very few things, but I read everything.
Yeah.
I was an avid reader on everything, and I read all the Warren's books. Hans Holzer was a favorite of mine.
Okay.
I read all of his stuff probably by the time I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah.
and I had read a book by, and I always mess up this guy's name, Rodive Augustus Rodive.
Okay.
He was a Swedish. I want to say he was a botanist. I'm not sure, but he was in Sweden, and he was doing recordings of bird calls in a
Okay.
forest out there, and he started getting voices. So he had EVPs, and he didn't even know what these things were.
Oh, wow.
So he kept recording these things, and then he didn't know what they were called, but he was like, I'm going out in these woods and I'm getting all these voices. So he
Yeah.
wrote a book about it, and I read that, and I was like, wow, that's fascinating. How can you get spirits to talk to you?
Right.
So that's when I started trying to do the EVPs, and I got one of the best ones I've ever had. When I was about a year out of high school, I had one of those big, for some of the older people, the big boom boxes with the detachable speakers and the
Yes.
and the and the double.
I had one of them.
Yes, yes. So that's so I was at home alone in Falls Church, Virginia, where I grew up, and I did the hit and play, and I said, hey, if there's anybody here, show me. And I went to a friend's house, and before that, let me preface this. I've had some experiences there in that house, like footsteps in the room, things like nothing major.
Right.
So I didn't know what I was going to get, but again, I had a very busy household, so this was one of the first times that I actually had anybody that wasn't in there.
Right.
So I did that, and basically, when I came back and rewound the tape, nothing but white noise for like the last minute and a half. And then I got some weird noises on the tape. And then a voice came through, said, I have shown you, ha ha. And of course, that scared the hell out of me. And I jumped up and ran out of the house.
Right.
And it was like, if you took the tape and you slowed it super slow, that was
Yeah.
the voice. Now, looking back, I don't think it was demonic. I think it was more a spirit probably just playing with me.
Right.
But that was
Yeah.
my first EVP. And it's as much as it scared me and as much as everybody thought I was crazy, that kind of threw me into it. And ever since then, I wanted to see what else is out there and why. So it sent me on that journey to today where I'm still trying to find out answers.
Right. Now, do you still have more? Do you have more questions than you have answers?
Absolutely. I like I said, since I've published this book, I've met a lot of great people doing these shows and interviews and things like that. And I pick their brains as much as I can, and I still have no answers. And they all tell me the same thing. You'll have more questions than answers through this journey. And that is true. But it's been a great journey, and I can't wait to continue it because it's something I live every day.
It's awesome. I love that. And it's weird because up until a year ago, if you brought up paranormal to me, I'd go look at you. Oh, hell no. I talk to dead people, but I don't want them jumping out at me. You know, I don't want anybody saying boo. You know, and I ended up meeting an amazing person, Justin Steinberg. I know I totally just screwed his last name up, and I should because he's not only a friend. I'm actually doing this investigation with him on Friday night. But literally, my first thing was actually working with him with all of his equipment. And during a gallery, he put equipment around me to see if buzzers and whistles would go off and flashlights would turn on, and it all happened. Of course, I didn't pay attention to any of it because I'm talking to him. You know what I mean? But it was like proof for putting it for other people in the room. Which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've learned. One thing is spirits are on their own time because they're basically dead living people, and by that I mean it's my belief that you keep your personality when you pass.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a jerk in life, you'll be a jerk in death. But if you're a trickster in life, you like a good time, you're going to be that kind of spirit. And I've met both. So it's been kind of interesting. But yeah, they're not, they don't work on command. That's why a lot of these ghost shows drive me crazy because it doesn't work like that, and I know that. And I understand production, I understand ratings, all of that, but I also know, that's probably 10 hours into this investigation, you get anything. But they make it look like, oh, after the commercial break, we're going to have this voice. Well, but not knowing, and I understand that. But like I said, I know how this stuff works too. So it's
And I have a friend. Well, he's a friend of mine, Rob Thompson. He's also I'm screwing up every name. We're just going to leave it at Rob because I'm screwing up every name today, and he's going to yell at me for this. Trust me. But he's been doing Ghost Finders now for, I think they just started their 11th season. And it's on Roku, Spirit Box, all of that, And I'll tell you what, he'll tell me, and it's Rob Thompson. I know it's Thompson. I just seen the age and it messed up in my head. But he's been doing this show for quite a few years, and he was a radio host before he got into paranormal. And he'll tell you, he's like, yes, it's Thompson. I know, Todd. In my head, I screwed it all up. So I've been working on names lately, like I'm not going to mess them up. And the more I try not to mess them up, I screw up the simple ones. It's not good. It's probably why I don't use the last name anymore. But he'll tell me, he's like, we go on set and they're there at really early in the morning, and they go all through the day, all through the night. And I mean, there's 16, 17, 18-hour days, and they don't do upset the ghost to get the information. You know what I mean? So it's all day, all night, it's exhausting for them to do an investigation just for production. I also know, like through Holzer Files, through that, it's what, if you want the real thing, you're going to be there, you have to take your time. So, I get that. I do understand that, ghosts don't just want to perform. So,
Yeah, and a lot of the people that have never had experiences seem to think it's that way. And I don't know if I had a dime for every time I had to explain this,
mhm.
I would be rich. I really would be because again, they don't seem to understand it. Because I've actually had people come to me and be like, "Well, I stayed in that cemetery for 15 hours and I didn't get anything," and it's like, "Well, here we go." So
Right.
you
And
know,
that's just and that's just it. So it is what it's and it's funny because when I went on just this little story, me and my family went on Sheboygan a sane asylum. Well, that
oh
became a nursing home and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know
yeah,
about the place, but it kind of took us tour
oh
of
wow,
a state asylum into hospital into nursing home slash drug rehab slash all of it,
hmm,
and as a medium walking in there, of course they've got EVP, they've got all their gadgets going, and I'm talking to the door. You know what I mean? I got a conversation. Oh my god, my family's going, you know what, you're better than the voice box. Like, but it's for me because they're able to communicate.
right,
You know what I mean? They don't have to use this equipment to make a voice heard,
right.
you know? So I don't know if I'm necessarily getting the full experience. So what are some of your tell me about some of those moments that some of your investigations, some of your better investigations. Not just
Sure.
sitting there for 15 hours.
Sure. Oh, before I do that, let me apologize. I'm on the East Coast.
That's okay.
So when I got your link for this and you said 10 a.m., I was thinking 10 a.m. Central Time, which would
It's
have been
good.
11 o'clock my time. So that's why I
You just
clocked in when I did. So I just want to let you know that
oh, you know what? I already knew it. That's why I sent you a message going, I'm on.
because I was like, oh no, maybe I should do
No,
this. So yeah, I just wanted to apologize for that first of all.
no,
Some of my
no
best
worries.
experiences, I would say, well, I just recently, I was a drug and alcohol counselor for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I was residential, meaning that the people
Yep.
stayed overnight. And I had a lot of experiences in that building, and I actually put it in my book.
That's a scary
Um,
place to be. Yeah.
it is, and again, being empathic, the emotions that
Hmm.
I explained to people that at times it was like walking through sludge to get through
Hmm.
there because everyone's negative emotions were like mud. It was horrible.
Yep. I
So
feel you.
that
Yep.
was tough. I recently left that though because of some issues and some health issues, and it was just kind of like it was just kind of time to go in another direction for me.
Yeah.
But again, in COVID, sorry, I have a fly in here. So COVID that wore us down because we never took any time off.
No.
So I recently about 3 weeks ago left that job and actually moved to the eastern seaboard of Maryland, which I'm loving it down here.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful down here. So I'm relaxing and getting kind of my energy back, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I had a lot of interesting ones. As a matter of fact, um, what really upset me is because when I wrote the book, I was so afraid that because I worked for a county
Mhm.
government, I wasn't sure what I could get away with. I didn't name names. I didn't say where
Mm.
this place was because I was afraid I was getting in trouble.
Right.
So I never did that. But after the book came out and I talked to my director, she was like, yeah, you probably could have gotten away with doing this, but I'm glad I didn't. But anyway, what I wanted to say with that was that once the book came out, I didn't interview any clients because I wasn't allowed to because of like HIPAA.
Right.
And so I wasn't, but then all of a sudden when I told him what I did, oh, hey, Kevin, I saw this or I got this. And I was like, I knew it. I knew that I would get some great experiences from the clients and I couldn't talk to them.
Right.
So after that was done, right before I left, I had people coming out of the woodwork telling me all these stories. And I'm just like, oh, that's great. But it was funny because some of my coworkers, some were on the fence and some believed. But it
Right.
was funny because, some of the ones that were leery, they give you the side eye. But
Mhm.
then when they got you alone, hey, Kevin, let me tell you what I saw. And I
Right.
was like, I knew it. So, and they'd be curious because I told them, I said, and again, I said with them, it's not a parlor trick. They're not going to just come out here and start dancing because
Right.
they're like, oh, wait, like every time I work overnight, I don't see or hear anything. I said, well, that's probably because they don't want you to,
Right.
and they don't understand that. But so I had a lot of experiences in the 10 years I worked there.
Yeah.
That were some really good ones, and and the thing with that, what I really enjoyed about that is that I had validation. I had 4 or 5 different coworkers experience the same thing. So to me, that
That's validation.
if I was crazy, then I guess we all are.
You're all
So,
crazy. It
but
just
that's going to be the one thing is that, oh yeah, you know, if you don't get called crazy in this field at least once,
right.
then something's wrong with you.
He's
But
something wrong with you.
that did give me validation though, and secondly, the fact that when you do have an experience, it is life changing.
Mhm.
And again, I go back to the first time I actually had one, and then the first time I actually recognized it wasn't a paranormal experience. Oh yeah, it was life changing.
Mhm.
Totally. So those were always good. Right before I left, I did an EVP session.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't pick up anything just because we have a lot of things going on. Like we have fish tanks that
Mhm.
have those filters that run.
Yeah.
We were fairly close to a main highway.
Right.
Those overhead lights, the fluorescent lights, gave off a terrible humming noise. And I
Right.
never realized, honestly, after working nights so many years in that building, how much noise that place makes.
Right.
So
It's
I didn't get
horrible.
and if I got anything, I didn't hear it. So
Right.
unfortunately, that was kind of a bust because I kind of figured it would be a farewell. You know, oh hey, let's slam some doors for Kevin. Let's give him some voices. Let's kick him down the stairs or whatever. But no, they stayed pretty reserved.
Oh,
So
wow.
and again, I've lived in about 5 or 6 different states and had experiences in all of them. And again, I
Mm,
cover that in the book.
right.
Pennsylvania was very interesting. I had a lot of good experiences in Pennsylvania with EVPs. So
Right.
some of the investigations in Pennsylvania that I did, and honestly, I never realized this. I never really did formal investigations. I just kind of did things on my own and
Right.
never thought of them as investigations. But actually, after having people point them out that they were investigations, I just never knew it.
Right.
So
Just
those are
doing it on your
interesting.
own.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And, and that's okay because you know what? I think a lot of people do investigations and don't even realize they are doing it. You know, I
Yes.
really do. So you don't know necessarily. I mean, if you think about everybody that uses just a regular phone and they're getting pictures of orbs, or
Right.
you're getting so many different things, they don't realize what they're picking up. And I think in our digital world, we are getting so much more than we ever have, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So have you ever had an experience that was just terrifying?
Yes. I actually had a negative attachment.
Oh boy.
When I was in college. When I was in college, I was dating a witch,
Okay. Well, was she a
and she was
witch or?
yeah, no, well, no, we're still friends. So she was actually she was a good witch. I don't think anyone was going to drop any houses on her anytime soon. But no, she was a psychic witch actually.
Oh, okay. Very, very
And
nice.
the thing, like I said, and it was funny because somebody just asked me the other day, how do I know if a psychic's good? And for me, what this woman did was I was in Virginia, she was in Pennsylvania. She remote viewed my home.
Hmm.
She had never been there before, and she was specific on little things
Yep.
that there was no way you could have seen that unless you were in this place. Like it was like a box in an attic, that
Right.
kind of thing. And that's how she was throughout our relationship. So I know she was the real deal. And I've come
Right.
across people that are, you know, they claim to be, but they're not.
Hmm.
And I know how to kind of, again, being empathic and being a Virgo, we're natural lie detectors. So
Okay.
I have a double, I have like a double-edged sword here of that. So that was good for me. But so anyway, when I started dating her, we had a friend of ours, a mutual friend, that her boyfriend was a staunch disbeliever. I mean,
Mhm.
you could have the haunting going around him, uh, and he wouldn't believe it. You could have something get thrown across the room at his head,
Right.
clearly by nothing, and he would still not believe anything. So he
Skeptic
was
through and
just
through.
absolutely.
Right.
So we said, okay, well, we're going to show you something. So we did a channeling session,
Okay.
and we picked something up that came out of this thing that was, I don't know what it was. It was an evil looking thing, and it came out through because we broke the circle,
Oh, wow.
because we all saw it at the same time, and it all kind of made us jump back.
Mm-hmm.
and we broke the circle. So I think this is how this thing got out. But anyway, all of our personalities started getting affected, and bad things happened to all of us. I went from a very carefree person to a very dark negative, not wanting people to even call me. I remember hanging up on friends, just
Right.
living in the dark. And let me preface this by saying about 5 months before that, my mother had passed. So that was a really tough time. So I was very vulnerable and angry, upset, as you can imagine. So I
Right.
started drinking heavily,
Okay.
and just isolating and that kind of thing. And then all these things happened around us. Like the other people in the circles, like things would happen, electricity would blow up, their cars were going down, refrigerators were on the fritz, this kind of thing. The skeptic had a motorcycle accident and almost died.
Oh, wow.
And it's still, even when we told him that's probably what it was, he just didn't believe us. It
Oh,
just, to this day, he's just, and again, I've learned that you're not going to convert people like that, and that's fine.
yeah,
That's, hey, they make the world go around too.
exactly. And that's just it. We can't have one without the other. We just
Yeah,
can't. You know,
absolutely, and that's the balance. Yeah,
I believe in skepticism 110%. Bring it on. You know what I mean? Just
right,
because it's skepticism makes it, even like when I do readings, I want you to come in not being a believer. I want you to be skeptic. I
right,
want you to, because I won't say it's my job to, it's not my job to make you a believer by any means. My job is to talk to who I'm talking to over here, you know.
right,
But if you come in to any one of us and you're just like, oh my God, I'm going to give you my life, blah, 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 that's not helping me either, if that makes
right.
sense.
Yeah,
So for me, I love skepticism. I love them to be, what you need to prove to me, because it's going to force me to try to find more details, try to find more evidence to give you, if that
right,
makes sense.
absolutely.
So I love that, you know. So within your journeys, especially where you're living now, are you living in a place that has got more activity, or are you finally getting some peace?
Actually, I tell you, I'm actually getting some peace.
Okay.
This place is newly renovated. When I
Oh,
walked in here, I had no negative feelings at all. Everything's very positive here. Um, I do have a friend of mine that is going through a lot of stuff. I just cleansed her daughter's room. She has cancer. She's fighting cancer right now.
oh, God
And
bless.
her and one of her ex-boyfriends did the Ouija board, and they brought some things. She's had things attached to her for a while. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to help her get cleansed for the last couple of years, and it's really hard with her. And now what I think's happening is with her cancer fight is that whatever's in her room is weak. She's weakened, obviously, because of the chemo and everything. So
Right.
whatever this stuff is trying to get to her more. And I've been trying to help her with the cleansing the room, things like that. So um, that's always had a kind of a negative feeling to it, and I've had to do a lot of work here with that. But this place that I'm in now, it's just beautiful. It's a very nice, where it's centrally located. It's kind of on a hill, so the sun's here. I see a lot of wildlife, which is
Uh-huh.
nice. I know a lot of what I saw a butterfly the other day, and I know that was a gift. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Mother Nature has been good to me. I see a lot of birds. I saw a
Mm.
deer the other day. That was nice. So
That is nice. You're like,
yeah, so
sounds like
it's
you
this
didn't have
place.
much of that beforehand.
No, no, actually, I didn't. I knew to look for some of the signs, but yeah, it was in a lot of the places that I did. There was a lot of darkness in a lot of the
Oh,
places I lived, because not from me, but from other people that were around me or whatever. But no, this place is great. Like I said, and I tell people, for me, it's always been cyclical.
right.
Like, and again, I know this sounds very cliche, but for me, between late September and November is when a lot of the enhanced
Mhm.
energy happens for me. So I have a lot of things happen during that time, and I know that's the Halloween time, whatever. But there's a lot of elevated energy during that
Mhm.
time. But that's not to say, and I tell people that's not to say that I won't have something happen at Christmas or
Right.
in July, and it's just, again, it's cyclical. But and I almost kind of wonder about that, and I probably shouldn't say anything, because I've actually been known, when I do these shows for things for them to join me. They love to join me.
Okay.
So they like to mess up the audio. They'll one, I was actually doing one a couple months ago, and I actually saw something behind the host. It was like a white that kept running back and forth, And I told her that, and the co-host was like, that's funny you said that, Kevin, because I just got goosebumps and like that prickly stuff on my head. And I said, I can see it right now. It's running right behind you.
Right. I'd
And
bring
they
it
were
on.
like, really? Yeah, and that's what they said. And I'm the same way because I can feel it behind me. And they, like I said, and I was like, hey, you want to come check out what I'm doing? I'm talking about you guys. So here I am. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's been, like I said, but it's been a great journey, and I love the fact that it always continues. But you're right, there's always more questions than answers, and I think there always will be.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I love that. But so now that you're done with now that you're walking out of one career, walking into another, do you see more investigations or more of that type of work in your future, or another book?
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely, all of the above.
Oh
Right
yeah.
yeah, actually, because of I was actually working on a book now, and I'm still working on it. Unfortunately, life kind of got in the way. Battlefield Ghosts.
Oh.
I was doing investigations at Civil War battlefields because I'm from Virginia, so I was living in Virginia, and of course,
They're there.
yeah. So I was actually doing that. I did Antietam, and I'll tell this story. The first one I did was it was called Balls Bluff Battlefield out in Loudoun County. Now, I didn't get anything per se during that investigation. However, when I got out and I left, and I got in the car, I have a habit of leaving the radio on when I listen. I like to listen to music, right? So I turned the radio on, and the song that was playing was Rebel Yell by Billy Idol.
Okay.
Now, most people would be like, that's no big deal. I took it as a sign of them telling me thank you, because Rebel Yell, obviously I was at a Southern battlefield. So the Southerners were saying thank you. So I just started laughing, and I said, you're welcome.
Right.
Because to me, I took it as a sign, as the spirit saying, hey, you were here. Thank you for being here. We didn't say anything on tape, but here you go.
Exactly. No, you know what? I get it 110% because like I have a sister on the other side, and when I need to get swift kick in the butt, she'll come through with music, and she always uses Journey, and I don't turn on the radio. I don't turn on the radio. I'm not one to listen to music, and I was having a really hard day a couple of weeks ago. I was at Menards of all places. All of a sudden, Journey starts playing really loud, and I'm looking. Where is that coming from?
That's
I'm
awesome.
like looking in the bushes, the fake bushes. Is there a speaker in there? There was nothing. They're good.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And like I said, I tell people you have to look for the signs because they're always there, and until you look for them, you never do. So that was my one, but I'm actually still working on that book. Unfortunately, like I said, COVID came along, and I wasn't able to get out much, and I was working all the time. And then I made this move now, so I moved out of there. So I'm almost done. I still want to go to Gettysburg. Obviously, Gettysburg is like the granddaddy of them all. So I still need to get up there. So I'm working on that. I've got a couple other projects in the works right now too that I'm working on. So I'm actually gonna. Sure. There again, with me being on the eastern shore of Maryland, now they have obviously Ocean City is the big beach down here. You have Dewey Beach, New Jersey's not too far away. Cape May, which I need to get to because I heard Cape May is like a haven for spiritualism. It used to be a big thing for spiritual. So that place has got to have a ton of energy.
Oh yeah.
So I need to get to Cape May. It's not too far from here, but as they start doing that. So I'm working on an Eastern Shore book about ghosts, and they have a ton of legends down here. They have absolutely a ton, and I've actually been fortunate enough to have some people tell me a few. And there's a person that I'm not going to mention her name because I'm going to kind of use her as a reference for some of these things I have to research. She wrote a great book on Eastern Shore ghosts. So I'm not going to go as in depth, I don't think, as she did, but it's a really great read. And she actually has a ghost tour, and I can't wait to take that because I'm going to do that coming up soon. So so I'm doing some research into that. So yeah, I've got some projects going on, and again, it's kind of like just again, I'm kind of taking some time off here, recharging my batteries, but also at the same time switching, like you said, switching the career into doing something else and continuing my writing and getting more serious about my writing. So
Yeah.
yeah, investigation is going to be a big part of that. As a matter of fact, I have a beautiful cemetery about half a mile down the road that's about 150 years old. I can't wait to walk through.
Oh, definitely. I just want to do a shout out to Michael. He's listening to us while he goes to work. And hey, Michael, have a great day at work. He's one of my friends too. So God bless him. So I love that. I love the fact that you're going, going to that cemetery and actually kind of going out and hearing some of those stories. The cool thing is now you can actually do those interviews because HIPAA's not involved.
Right.
You can actually really ask those type of questions and see where you can, come up with some of those things.
Absolutely.
Which would be amazing. Now, isn't some of the Holzer files over in that area too? Pennsylvania, over in that area, Maryland, all of that?
Yeah, I believe so. As a matter of fact, Dave Schrader has a. I was actually talking to him, and I think Jason Hawes. They used to do a podcast.
Okay.
Or a radio show, and I was actually in talks with him to go on there a little while ago, and I think he actually left to go do the Holzer files. So
Yep.
I haven't talked to Dave Schrader in a while, but I have watched the show and it's very intriguing. I like the fact that his daughter revisits his file. I think that's just a unique concept, and I've watched the show a few times and really enjoyed it. But yeah, they go all over, but I think they have been down here and in the corner of Pennsylvania up closer towards Philly, and I was actually a little more towards Pittsburgh. But
Okay.
yeah, I've kind of been all over Pennsylvania. So
Yeah, I honestly do love watching their show. I don't catch every episode, but I do love watching because I love the way that they create. David, goes in and does his investigation. I love the medium Cindy Gaza who comes in and does it from her point of view, but it's never poke the ghost. It's just never poke the ghost, and I love that. So I know Ghost Finders does it the same way, which I also love. Obviously they don't have Holzer's files to go off of, which is pretty huge. It's an extra little niche in there,
Absolutely.
So I love that. So do you have any plans of any quote unquote, investigations like they do coming up? Or is it more just doing it and kind of doing it on your own? Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually kind of doing it on my own, but I've also I've always wanted to go tag along with a team.
Okay.
And I've only had one or two offers to do that. And again, I just want to see how like I said, comparative to the the TV shows, and I've talked to investigators and things like that. I've always wanted to tag along with the team just to see what I could pick up or see or whatever versus what they do, and just kind of just take it all in just to see, hey, what they do. I was actually, a unique concept last year. I was actually in talks with a team out of Gettysburg that was interested in they pitched me an idea. They said, hey, if we let you follow us around for a while, maybe do a book. And I thought that was pretty interesting, first person experience. I don't know what happened to this person. She disappeared. I haven't talked to her in over a year. I lost all her information. So I don't know what happened with that, but I thought that was a pretty unique idea. So yeah, I mean, if there's any local teams, and I've actually talked to a few teams, for some reason, I think it was COVID. A lot of them never got back to me. So I don't really know what's what, but I would love to still to just tag along in an investigation and just see how everyone does it, and just kind of take it all in and just be with them. I think that'd be really cool.
I think that'd be amazing. I know up here in Wisconsin, like we have, one investigation team is like Fox Valley. I think it's Paranormal Investigation Team. I have a friend that is running out of the Northwoods. Give me a second. I gotta figure it out. I don't want to say. Like I said, I so often say things wrong. It's the Northern Wisconsin Metaphysical Research Team. So those are just like two in Wisconsin. But I'm sure if you got on and researched, you'd be able to find a couple to say, hey, and be able to join that team and or just follow. Because I think that'd be a great concept to be able to sit back and watch the book. Because how many people rather, read Harry Potter than watch the movies?
Exactly.
So I think that's a great concept.
Yeah,
or
and like I said, I was pretty excited about that when she pitched that idea to me because I had never thought of something like that, and I was like, wow, that I could do that. That I think that'd be like a really cool book. So I've read a ton of the books, of course. People who have had the haunted houses and lived in active places, and even the ones way back when. I don't know if you're familiar with Harry Price. He
Hmm,
was an investigator in the 30s and 40s who was part of the ghost research in England, and he did the Borley Rectory.
okay.
And he stayed there for a while and did an investigation, wrote a couple books on it, and I thought that was kind of interesting. He was actually physically there, and then he wrote a book about it. So yeah, I've actually been interested, but like I said, I'm always looking for great ideas.
Yeah,
I've got a couple, like I said, I've got a couple manuscripts going right now, but I think that's something I would definitely want to pursue, is still tagging along with the team for a
right.
while, maybe 6 months or so, and just keep just writing notes and just writing while I'm going along. I think that'd make a pretty cool read.
Oh, I think it'd be an amazing read, because even like as we're sitting here and I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about like all of the people that I have sent, after a reading, they've had like one guy having major lifelong pains with his from his hip down, one of his legs, and not understanding, doctors can find nothing wrong. There's nothing going on. He does one reading with me. I'm like, oh my God, I can feel this pain in your leg. He's like, yeah, what is it? I'm like, oh my God, you need to go back to Gettysburg. You need to grab your leg. Like you lost
Wow,
it in battle. You lost
that's
it in battle. You
awesome.
died there. I can't tell you how many people I've sent back to Gettysburg or sent back to some past life they've had. And still
Right,
the energy is there. Even if some of this, not all the spirits are still there, the energy is there. And these people are drawn to it because of past lives and then the
right.
energy, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to see that. I mean, I don't know if I want to go to Gettysburg. I mean, I'm afraid I would start seeing like big old balls just going flying through the air. I'd be ducking, ducking and weaving.
Yes. 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 That's
Yeah.
cool. I've actually got a really good friend who's an investigator out of New Jersey, and she wrote a great book. And in it, she talked about I forgot what did she call it? It's kind of like the memory tree,
Okay.
but it wasn't called the memory tree. It was called something else. But basically, what it was is it was a tree on the battlefield there that has
Okay.
the emotions and memories of the battle. And this thing
Yeah.
has so much energy; it's incredible. And I never thought about that.
Mhm.
When you're walking along and thinking like this fence post that's been here for 155 years has the
Yep.
energy of everything. I never most people never think of that, but that was really eye opening. But yeah, she does the same thing, and
Mhm.
she said she's always been pulled. She lives near a Revolutionary War battlefield. She says,
Oh,
but
wow.
Kevin, it's the Gettysburg's got the pull for me, and I don't know why.
Yep.
So she goes back there all the time, and she kind of figures out. But she's helped a lot of spirits over,
Yep.
and she knows that's what she's there for, and she goes back all the time. As a matter of fact, she invited me to I guess I have a big ghost conference up there every year,
Up here in
and
Wisconsin or Minnesota? Oh,
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. Okay.
Yeah, so she invited me to that one this year because I actually have it. I don't know if I'll be able to make it up there,
Right.
um, but yeah. So she's just, and I never thought about that the energy stays in certain places. So
It does.
yeah, and that's amazing. Like I said, I think a lot of people think like that, and I've had a few people tell me about some past lives, and maybe that
Mhm.
explains some things too. But yeah, that's fascinating work.
Oh, it's amazing, and I always tell people when you get to a site that you know is really old, find a tree that's old and just kinda lean against it or touch it because it'll tell
Yeah,
you its story. It'll
yeah,
tell you the story of the land in front of it, and
yep,
it's I've done it myself and had of course, where I'm at, it's not about, war fields. I am, more of the slave underground railroad, because I'm
right,
literally in between 2 major towns that were all about that. Well, I'm in one of them, and one of them's next to me.
right,
um,
yeah,
2 infamous, ones. Um, but literally, you can feel the trees and you can see the battles. You can feel it, what has gone on.
yeah,
And it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting, and it's a totally different take on investigation because, the only way you get, I guess, like with any investigation, the only way you get a validation is if somebody's wrote a book on the history of it, you
true,
know?
yeah, absolutely,
So I think that'd be an amazing book to write, an amazing book to write to
yeah,
follow those investigations, especially onto those war fields, and maybe have the
Yeah.
backlash on the other end of it, the validation based on history,
Right.
so having it
Right.
back and forth for people to go, oh, I'm skeptical, but wait a second, here it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That
And
would
then,
be
like I
really
said, it's been great. I'm a history buff anyway.
cool. Right,
So going to these things, and most of the ones I've been to, I've never been to before. So it's nice actually going to these ones, even though I'm not getting a lot on tape or whatever, but I'm getting a lot of, I feel a lot of things, obviously. Like
right,
Antietam was just, oh my God, Antietam was, everything was cracked up to be. I didn't get the voices and this and that, but the feeling in Antietam was like nothing I've ever experienced.
tell me more
Just
about that.
everything. It was okay. First of all, I went there. It was about 2 months ago, so it was still a little warm. It was just starting to get warm, so it was pretty. I went there early in the morning. It was overcast the whole time, so that right there immediately was like, okay, maybe this is the sign because of the weather.
Right,
Um, so, and this is funny because I've only been to one battlefield that's ever had sun. And I've
oh,
always maintained that every time I go to a battlefield or somewhere where there's been a lot of death, it's never been sunny. It's always been overcast or rainy, which is
okay,
kind of fitting, I think.
yeah,
So I went to, some of the places that were like Bloody Lane, which is very, very that was a place where a lot of people get EVPs and a lot of energy. The energy there was incredible. I mean, it was like somebody was following me throughout the whole tour that I
mhm,
took, and I was basically there by myself.
right,
Nobody else was really there. But I went through this little lane to go to a house, and I can't remember the place. But right in the middle of it, my recorder went crazy. it started going. It started freaking out. It started like doing this weird. So I have a digital. Never
right,
did that before. And it just like I said, I kept hearing things behind me.
right,
And turning around, of course, there was nobody there. And I knew there was somebody there, but there was nobody there. And we know what I mean.
right,
So the energy level was just great. But it was interesting because right as I finished up, it started pouring down the rain. So it was like almost like it waited for me to finish. And then the
wow,
rain came, and then I made it to my car, and which is kind of nice because they were actually having busloads of people literally at that time coming up, which was
right,
good because again, that would have kind of killed the energy or it would have intermingled. So, but it was just the feeling, just, and I could see things everywhere I went through my mind's eye,
right,
and that's just, whether it was just some guy standing in there with a rifle. It wasn't necessarily a Civil War person. It was just a person. There was a lot of farmland obviously out there. So I saw a lot of animals, but it was
right,
just the feeling like you knew what
right,
happened here. It was just the energy was like, hey, kind of poking you, like,
right,
hey, look at me, feel this, feel that. It was just great, and it was just amazing. And it was a beautiful place, and it's huge. And
wow,
once you know the story of what happened there, when you walk through, I mean, driving home it was about an hour and a half to home, and I drove home, and it was just the feeling was just great. And of course, one thing I have to tell people, and people don't understand this, is that you have to tell the spirits, you cannot come with me. You stay here.
right,
Because if you don't, I've had people have done that and they've had things follow them home. And they're like, oh my God, what happened? I said, well, you didn't tell them to stay. And
mhm,
that doesn't always help. And I know that doesn't always work. But
right,
for me, that's the first thing I say is, hey, thank you for having me here, but you cannot come with me. You stay here. And that's, for me, it's worked
right,
because I've been in places where I haven't done that and I've had things follow me home from
right,
cemeteries, and that's never fun. So that was like the first thing I do anytime I go anywhere. But yeah, Antietam and these battlefields I've gone to, they're just beautiful places. They're just peaceful. The first
right,
one I did, like I said, Balls Bluff in Loudoun County, Virginia. I'd never been there. That was one of the early battles of the war.
uh-huh,
And there was a lookout point that I went to. It was out in the woods. And I just stopped just because it was just beautiful. I just stopped. But it was like I could feel eyes on me
right,
throughout the trees. And I was like, God, that's where I know there's people, there's spirits looking at me. So I went home and did some more research and come to find out that's where the sharpshooters were set up.
Oh,
behind
okay.
those trees looking for people. And then I'm not saying that that's what they were, but I could feel eyes on me as I went through that path in those
Right.
woods. There was eyes on me throughout that whole thing. Something was following me through there, and it wasn't hard. It was just kind of like, hey, what's this? Who's this? Let's watch him.
Right.
So that was really neat.
That
And
is-
honestly, the one place that I didn't really get a lot, and I was really surprised, is I went to Manassas battlefield, which is one of the first battles of the war.
Okay.
I didn't get anything really. And that really surprised me because I figured, okay, that's got a lot going for it, but I really got nothing out of that. It was a very beautiful battle. I'd been there many times before as a kid. That was the one. They have a thing called the Stone House that disappears allegedly.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it'll appear and then people will see it and it's gone.
Oh, wow.
And I got to see that when it was there, and it was still there when I left. So it didn't disappear when I saw it.
Right.
But yeah, I'd been there. Like I said, we used to take field trips as a kid to that museum or to that battlefield when I was in 3rd and 4th grade.
Right.
And again, I didn't pick anything up. There was no really ill feelings, and honestly, to say, there was a really annoying woman, and I hate to say this, but she was a young girl and she was out there jogging or something. Well, she was on the phone. And
Right.
she was talking to her. I guess she was at a bar the night before, and she was talking to one of her friends on speaker. And I
Right.
just wanted to tell her to shut up because I had my recorder running, and she was behind me, and I was like, "What the hell?" So anyway, so she finally left, and I was, oh gosh. And then I thought, okay, if this is any precursor to how this is going to be, but I was really surprised, and I did touch some statues. And I took a lot of pictures, but yeah, I really didn't get anything, and I was really, really surprised. And I walked pretty much that whole battlefield, and I didn't pick anything up. It was kind of weird, but all
Wow.
the other ones I've gotten something.
I wonder if it's because it's it's the first one, and even though there was anger going into it, there wasn't a whole lot of energy built up behind it, like Gettysburg, you know.
Right,
So,
right. But
those
yeah,
first spirits said, okay, we're going home out of here. Because I'm
I
a firm believer that, if you go to a place that's haunted, those spirits chose to stay here.
right,
They chose to stay here. And that's why they retain their personalities, is because they haven't moved on from this life,
right.
Whereas
Absolutely.
if they chose to go home, it's all about love. They go back, you know what I mean? The personality come
Yes.
through, but really they're back to love. So
Yes.
I'm wondering if those first spirits just said, you know what, we're done. Let's go. Where the other ones are starting to hold on to some of that earthbound and like, I don't want to go. I've killed so many
Yeah.
people, or I've done this, or I've done that, or I have I need to see that man dead before I go, or
Yeah.
whatever might have been to keep them here,
Yeah, absolutely. But
you know?
yeah, I'm having a blast doing this though, because like I said, I'm a big history buff too. So I do
Uh,
a lot of research before I even go to the battlefields. And
okay.
luckily, I've actually asked some people on some sites and things that if they have any of those stories, send them to me because I love to include them.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you don't have to leave your name. I don't need, I can just do the anonymous. I've been lucky. I actually found a site where they actually have ghostly, people who've come up against, ghost things at the battlefield, and they actually write and post. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. So I stumbled across that.
Right.
So it's been a really good experience. And I was just in the midst of doing Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania when I moved.
Okay.
So that, like I said, I moved about 2.5 hours south of me, southeast. So that'll give me something to look forward to later in the summer to go back over there, and then I can maybe hit that, and then hit Gettysburg, and then knock kill two birds with one stone, as it were.
Right.
So yeah, and again, I was hoping if this book does well, I was planning to do one that takes me farther south through Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, some of the other battlefields, and cover those and do the same thing.
Oh, I think that'd be so cool. Really think that'd be so cool. You know? Um, I love that. I love that. So, what I'm going to ask you, with so much going on, what drove you to drive to the East Coast and just sit, move?
Um,
you know?
it was a woman.
Oh, it's
My
always the
girlfriend, yeah,
woman.
my girlfriend lives down here.
Oh
So
boy, I love
I've been
it.
in a long distance relationship for almost, it'll be actually 8 years this month.
Oh wow, well
So
congratulations.
when I could, thank you, when I could visit her, working around my schedule in Northern Virginia, I'd come down here because it's beautiful, and I fell in love with the place down here because I was from right outside of DC, and that's hectic and crazy and traffic and people and everything. You come down here, you're more laid back and chill. You got 2-lane highways, you got cornfields, the beach, if that's your thing. So
Right.
it was just such that I use this as a getaway.
Okay.
Really, like I'd work, be up there and get all that stress and everything, and just decompress down here. Take the drive, 2.5 hours away over like the Chesapeake Bay, which is beautiful.
Right.
And come down here and just chill, and be with her and everything. And then I was like, you know what? I said, with everything going on, I said, it's just time to come down here, and just kind of, I'm semi-retired, but I'm not.
Right.
And I tell people that because I'm eventually going to have to go back to work because, again, toiling and writing is a beautiful thing, but it's not very lucrative right now, and that's okay
Right.
because it's a passion of mine, and I'm all right with that.
Right.
But I'm going to have to go back eventually. But I saved some good money to enable me to just concentrate on writing and research for a while. And I'm going to do that. And
Nice.
again, like I said, it's been about 2 years since my heart attack. So I'm
Right.
trying to get my health back to where it needs to be. So, and I've loved it. I just talked to a former coworker yesterday who asked me how I was doing. I told her I loved it down here and I was doing great. And she was like, "That's good to hear." So,
It's awesome.
yeah, and unfortunately, she's going through some health issues herself. So I'm kind of moral support as well as physical support with me
Yeah.
being down here, and that's really helped her, I think.
Right.
And it's funny because she's in the book, of course, because when she started seeing me, things started going crazy in her house.
I love it.
And she's the daughter of a preacher, so yeah, so you've got. She doesn't know how to quite take this, and I'm trying to teach her, if you will,
Right.
what this is all about because she still doesn't quite understand it because she
Right.
knows what happens, but she doesn't understand because the only thing she understands is the Holy Spirit,
Right.
which is fine. So I've been trying to school her a little bit in, this is what I do, this is what happens, things like that. And she's been really receptive to it. We don't really talk to her parents about that much, obviously, but yeah, her and her
I
and her
should
immediate
laugh because I've had
family.
those conversations with my mom and now she's on board, but
Okay, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna convert her mother, but stranger things have happened. I suppose I could try sometime, but maybe later down the road. But yeah, so it's been interesting. Like I said, I've taken her. I took her to there's a place down here called Pocomoke Woods that's
oh, okay.
supposed to be really, really haunted. So I took her there last year, and we both got really bad headaches and I was like, "Wow, are you psychic? You didn't tell me." She's like, "Kevin, I don't know what happened." I said, "But I'm feeling what you're feeling." And I was like, "Wow, that's new."
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And we actually a couple years ago, right around another 2 streets over from her house, they had a domestic incident, and the husband was killed by the wife. The wife stabbed this guy to death.
Yeah.
And right before they tore the house down, we drove by it one time, and we both had the same reaction. And she was like, "Kevin, I don't know what that's never happened to me, but I felt I got the chills. I got a headache. I wanted you to get out of this place." I was like, "Wow, you've never." She's like, "I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's that." So I think she's got something, like you said, and maybe I'm kind of opening her up a little bit.
Maybe. Maybe.
But yeah, and it's just like I said, it was just kind of one of those things. And it's one of those things where when I made the decision to do this back in January to move down here, it was like that weight lifted from your shoulders and you felt it. I knew it was right because I could feel it was right.
Yeah.
There was no turmoil. It was just peace and calm and like you did the right thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it down here.
I love that. I love that. So are you open to people telling you stories from like some of those war areas?
Absolutely. Like I said,
Mhm.
that's another thing. While I'm on that subject, I'm actually actually am just gathering stories from anybody and everybody to maybe do an
Awesome.
anthology eventually. So if
Right.
anybody has stories, I can give contact information because
That's what
I've
I
been
was gonna
doing that. Yeah,
that's what I was leading up
absolutely.
to. Like, I want your
Anything and
contact
everything you
information,
got,
send it
send it
to.
my way because I'm collecting all sorts of stuff for a potential anthology coming up.
Beautiful. Well, if you can give a moment and give all your contact information so people know how to find you or where to get that stuff to.
Absolutely. They can contact me at KKILLEN, K Killen, BT, B as in boy, T as in Tom, K Killen BT at gmail.com. They can also send me anything on Instagram at Irish Kev, IRISHKEV, 4714.
Okay.
I had to think, sorry, I'm thinking about that.
It's okay. I've been on that thinking thing all day.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought friends are gonna come after me later.
the coffee's leaving. Irish Kev 7147. My God, I wasn't even close. So those are the two main places that I do things. But yeah, if you have stories, if you want to, I love talking to people. I love talking to potential fans. I love talking to fans. So just if you want to drop a dime, just drop me a line about anything and everything. You want to talk about drugs and alcohol usage, where to go, what's going on, ghosts, anything. I've also run the gambit from a shadow person on down. So I've had tons of experiences. So if anybody wants to talk to, and again, I just want to mention that one of the reasons I wrote this book was because I know how it was growing up, that people didn't believe you. And I wanted to show people, hey, I'm a normal average guy that's going through these things. And then I'm trying to find answers. And believe me, I get the side eye all the time. I've gotten called crazy. I don't know how many times. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But I know there's a lot of people out there who are still afraid to tell their stories because of ridicule and ostracization. So that's one of the reasons I read that book. And again, feel free to drop me a line to talk about it, because again, I am a professional counselor still. So
there you go.
I love to talk and I love people. So those two places, if you have anything, you have any stories to relate or just want to talk, drop me a line at either one.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for coming on with me. I've so enjoyed the last hour, just listening and talking with you and you sharing your story. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I've enjoyed the last hour as well.
Beautiful. Well, you have a beautiful day, and I hope many people send you a lot of stuff. So
thank you. So do I. Thank you. So do I. I'll keep you posted on that.
Perfect. Bless. Have a great day, Kevin.
Hey, you do the same, Dad. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Well, this is DeEtte Ranae here with Schooled Thru Spirit on WLTK Digital Radio. I will be back after this break with a weekly reading. Woohoo! See you in a few.
A book of mystery, a book of one man's journey, a book of the afterlife, a book you must read. Ghost and Me by 5-time award-winning author Kevin Killen is a book of one man's journey in the search of the afterlife. Read of his chilling childhood experience, his investigative journeys, and his opinions of paranormal activity. Ghost and Me by Kevin Killen, an Ozark Mountain publication. Get your copy today online or wherever books are sold. Paranormal evidence. We scour the internet searching for true paranormal captures, information, and education. New methods mixed with old methods of capturing this mysterious phenomenon. Well, look no further for your ghostly voices than ghostly-voices.com. Nicole Tito and Lisa Crick take you on a journey into their paranormal world and provide you with true EVP and ITC audio captures, compelling information on debunking, some hilarious bloopers, and more. Remember, these two are veterans in the field and know how to capture the true evidence you are looking for. Ghostly-voices.com, your paranormal stop for true audio evidence. Ghostly-voices.com.
Hey, welcome back to School Through Spirit here with DeEtte Ranae on WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. We are going to do our weekly reading. Here I am with my favorite cards. It is the Intuitive. If you can see the picture here, it is the Intuitive Soul Oracle cards, and that is with Lisa Williams. I love this card set. I wish, hope, pray she's making a new deck because this one is hard to find now. I love this card. It's my favorite card that sold me on this deck. This card right here. It's the simplicity of this deck. I love it because it's beautiful. It's easy to read. The imagery is amazing. So much can come out of the pictures. Just love it, love it, love it. So again, this is Lisa Williams Intuitive Soul Oracle card deck. I'm gonna pull 6 cards today. Can you believe it? 6 cards. Okay. I am going to do a follow-up card though. One card is a clarification card with the Akashic Tarot card, or excuse me, the Akashic Tarot card set, and that's with Sharon Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor. I'm on those, and that'll be just a clarification card. So you can pick 1, you can pick 2, you can pick all 6 of these. You can pick just the last card, the clarification card. You can pick them all, whatever you'd like. This is your game, your reading. You let me know. Okay, you let me know. So I'm seeing some. I usually don't read these reversed at all, so I'll be flipping them there because I've been teaching my granddaughter the one you met, how to use oracle cards. So some of these cards are flipped, which is really weird. So let's shuffle, and let's start flipping the cards. Oh my God, I don't know what they got on there, but it's driving me bad. The kids drive something on my desk, and it's driving me batty. I'm going to have to come out here and scour it. The first card is home. It is feeling safe, warmth, togetherness, relaxed, time to unwind. And this is the home card. And you know what? When I look at this, I really think about my sacred space, okay? And it's not necessarily an altar. It's just literally a space that you feel safe in, that you can do your work in. I'm thinking if you pick number 1, it's time for you to relax, feel that comfort someplace that you do feel comfortable in. And it's really time to go home to get to that space, okay? So if you pick number 1, it's time for you to just kind of relax, chill, take a moment, put your feet up, okay? It's time for you just to kind of get back to who you are, that safe space. Really just unwind, okay? Card number 2, the dawn, new beginnings, new horizons, birth, and rejuvenation. I can't say anything today. We're just going to leave it alone. I can't say it. Anyway, I love this card because when I look at this card, 4, Brenda picked number 4. I love it. So when I look at this card and I see I do know that it's dawn and new beginnings, but when I look at this, remember in the very beginning when I was talking, what's your next step? What's your next step? I always think of, I think about sometimes just walking that path, okay? Just something that is beginning, that is beautiful. Because no matter what you're doing, it's always going to be beautiful, isn't it? Because it is something new. It's something you need to do for yourself. It's something you need to do for your journey. So if you pick number 2, you really are looking at that. You have a lot of new things going on right now. New beginnings, new journeys, okay? Take hold of that. So start looking for signs to see what is out there, what's being told to you, okay? To see what's next on that path. Gosh, I seem to be like having a hard time communicating. Oh my God, number 3 is the gamble card. Oh my God, taking chances, jumping in with 2 feet and taking risks. I think these cards are talking to me today. And I can't tell you how many times my students will come and tell me, I did these readings, but I swear the cards are talking to me, not them. And it goes 2 ways. So far, these are all talking to me too. So taking a chance, taking a gamble. I love the depiction of this card because when I look at it, I'm seeing that amazing doorway. It's an amazing doorway. And you can see it's almost like you're looking at the walls of a house. Okay. But when you're walking through the entrance of the house, you're walking into a world of unknown. because you really don't know what's on the other side. And when you look at the picture, all you see is beautiful foliage and greenery. It's almost as if you're seeing one of those moon doors out in the middle of nowhere that is, worlds, doorways into other worlds. And I think this is beautiful. So if you pick number 3, this is really about taking those chances, taking a gamble, just saying, you know what, screw it, I'm going for it. So if you pick number 3, that's it for you. Oh my God, Brenda, this one's for you and anybody else that picked up 4, okay? So we are looking at commitment. It's a commitment card, being true to yourself and others, committing and trust to yourself, power and knowledge, okay? I love this card because when you see this card, you see, not only do you see a woman looking in a mirror, looking back at herself, you see a woman that's looking at herself, knowing herself. She is committed to who she is and where she's at in life. Okay? So if you pick number 4, it is time for you to look at yourself and commit to who you are and your journey. It's time for the wishy-washy to stop. It's time for you to literally become one with yourself. Be honest with yourself, trust in yourself, and go forward with that. Okay? And still, they're all reading true for me. Number 5. Oh my God, it's the no card. No. I always love this because when I look at this card, originally when I used to look at the no card, I was always felt very harsh. And when I look back at it and I look at this card, if you notice this, it's just saying not yet. No, not yet. So if you specifically asked a question or if you have something that's going on in your life right now and you've picked number 5, this card really is just saying not yet, okay? You will see on the wrist. Oh, I love that, Brenda. Brenda says she is trying to do that already. So, oh my God, keep going with that, Brenda. So if you look at this card, but if you look at on her wrist, she's got a bracelet, but it's got a beautiful gem on there. And it's like a sparkly diamond heart sitting there. And even though it's saying not yet, it's showing me that there's hope. There's hope for the future. It's just that the timing isn't right yet. Okay, so keep gathering your facts, gathering your information, keep educating yourself, keep working towards that goal. It's just not going to happen right now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6. Ta-da! 6. Belief. The belief card. Keep the faith, believing in self and others, sense of knowing. This card always calms me on the inside. It totally calms me because if you got this card, it's finally time for you to believe. Believe in yourself, believe in spirit, believe in things happening, but there is a belief, okay? Nothing was ever done on just a doubt. You need to have belief, okay? So gather that, look within yourself, keep your faith. And that faith might be, say God. And faith might be of another deity. The faith might be of spirit. The faith might be of yourself. It might be of your parents. It might be whatever. It's just a knowing, a true knowing, and a belief in it. Okay? Believe in your dreams. Believe all the way around. Okay? So that is the first 6, and I'm going to recap those 6 for you. Okay? So we have got number 1 being the home card, and that is feeling safe at home. It's time to go home and unwind and just kind of bring yourself back together. What you need to do is going to be from a home base. Number 2 is the Dawn card, which is that new beginnings. It's new horizons. It's a birth of things. It's just kind of going, you're at a ground point and it's time to go from there. Number 3 is that gamble card. It's time to take a chance. You got the idea, you got that thought process, jump 2 feet in and go, okay? Number 4 was the commitment card. Commitment is being true to yourself, okay? It's being true to yourself, committing to this, committing to who you are and going forward with that, okay? Number 5 is no, which means just to hold on. It just means not yet. It's a not yet type situation. It's either not for you or it's just not yet, okay? And number 6 is a believe card because you need to keep the faith. You just need to keep the faith. Okay. So we're going to look at Sorry, I keep looking out my windows, and I don't know why, but I do. I keep looking at the windows. So I am going to pull the Akashic Tarot card. Let's see what that's about. Okay. So let's pick one card to bring this all together, and that's from the Akashic Tarot. Okay, we have got the Queen of Roses. The Queen of Roses. I love this. I love this card because when I look at it, first thought was, what the hell does Queen of Roses mean? Honestly. But when I look at the card, and I just want to take a moment to smell it, okay? And when I'm looking at this card, it really is about this lady has figured out what it means to just take a time, take a moment to really go within, understand herself. She's got her plan together, but at the same time, she has learned to take a moment for herself. Okay? She's taken a moment to stop, breathe in the smell, take that moment to enjoy what's going on, enjoy the journey, enjoy it all. It's kind of like the old saying, stop to smell the roses. Okay? If you're working all the time, what joy are you getting from it? Okay? So, be like the Queen of Roses. This is just really confirmation of any part of this. It means to enjoy this journey. Enjoy the journey you're on. With any part, one of these cards, that's what this is saying to me. Take the time to stop. Take the time to enjoy the roses. Take the time to enjoy yourself. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to take a picture of these so that we can put that in today's show lineup for everybody. Okay? As we always do, because that way I can get the picture and then kind of put things away. Okay, so as I'm putting cards away, let's talk a little bit about today and what everything has been said. Like I talked about in the very beginning, what's next? What's next? And it's weird because Kevin talked a lot about not what is in his past, but if you think about it, where he's at in his own journey. He's written this amazing book about the paranormal and his experiences with that. But he's also made a beginning and a journey for him. And he's got other things starting. So it's always what's next. We're all at different phases or steps in our lives. And we have to figure out where we're at and where we're going to go with those. Okay. I always hate when it does that to me. I always want to edit these pictures and flip them around and everything else. And I don't know, I always want to do it with everybody right on screen, like, oh my God, I promise you I'm doing this type of a feeling. It almost feels like every time. Perfect. So I want you guys to understand different places that, with this being said, you can find us in the show. As always, I want you to be able to go to our new website. It's our new improved website, okay? Not all the glitches are out yet. So if you're running there today and it's not all up and going, that's fine. Come back tomorrow. Come back the day after. Okay? New, improved, amazing, up-to-date, high-tech type website. So cool. I got a glimpse of it the other day. I'll tell you what, it's rocking. It's www.WLTK-DB.com. You can find it there. As always, go there. You're going to find all of our shows. You're going to find our own personal pages. You're going to find everything it's about. You can listen to it live through the web page if you'd like. Awesome, awesome, awesome. As always, if you're catching the show more towards the end, you can either go back on the stream of what we have been doing here and see us on Twitch, Twitter, or Facebook. As always, you can always go back and watch it. You can also see that the show has been YouTubed, which is really awesome. So you can find it there. Not to mention, you can also find this show and all the rest of our shows as personal podcasts. So you just have to, Google Schooled Thru Spirit. You can find it on Audible. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it's Amazon Music. You can find it on Spotify, Podbeam, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Oh my God, the list is just endless. But please, please, please take a moment to check it out. Sharing is caring. That's what we teach my granddaughter all the time. Sharing is caring. So I love it, love it, love it. And I'm going to go through the list of shows. I'm going to go through the list of shows here so that you know what's going on for the week, okay? Sorry, I have to ask a question here. So Monday mornings, as always, I'm going to tell you everything in Central Standard Time because that's just me. It's my time zone. Monday mornings, always, you can find me with Schooled Thru Spirit on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. I go for 2 hours with a beautiful guest. Tonight, you can find the Paranormal and Cryptic Show on at 8 p.m., and that's with Jay and Stacy Fountain. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, we get a little bit busy, and that's with New Bridge Radio at 7 p.m., and that's with Kevin Mackey. At 8 p.m., you've got Haunted Voices Radio with our very own Todd Bates. And at 10 p.m., you have Paranormal Pete with Pete Orbea. Now, going on to Wednesday nights, we have got Missy Hart and Michelle and Nicole Ford. Oh my God, I hope I got that right. Nicole Ford. I'm not doing good names today. Nicole Ford and Missy Hart with The Good Shit Show. That's Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. We have got Thursday nights, After Night Chronicles, and that's with our Nicole Strickland. And on Friday evenings, we have got Remember Me Radio, and that's with Rennie Rodriguez. Rennie Rodriguez, okay? And you can find that one on at 8 p.m. Awesome. And you can find that every single week, okay? Every single week. So that's not alternated anymore. Every single week, you're going to get, I believe it's Remember Me Radio with Rennie Rodriguez. As always, thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure. You know, I'm hoping next week I'll have more to talk about because I am going on that paranormal investigation this week with Edinburgh Manor, which is going to be awesome. It's me and my daughter, and we're bringing Justin down from Minnesota, and I have got chat with Charlie coming down with a couple of her guests. It's going to just be an amazing experience. Can't wait. And I'll tell you all about that on Monday. Talking about next Monday's guest. Oh my God, I can't wait. It's Michelle Schulfer. You're going to love Michelle. Michelle is actually originally from, I believe, the Stevens Point area in Wisconsin. She has since moved up to Cable, Wisconsin. It has an amazing store up there. She also has a Stera healing business. I'm telling you, just so much information. She's just a wealth of information. Not only that, she's a woman that like buys old abandoned decrepit places and rebuilds them. Oh my God, it's just miraculous everything she does, and I cannot wait to share her and her journey with you. Okay, so thank you for joining me today here on Schooled Thru. Oh, before I let you go, you ever wanted your own show? Come on, admit you do. Admit you have a mouth like I do, and you want to talk. And if you do, then hook up with my host here on WLTK-DB.com. Fill out a little form, send it in. He'll get you hooked up with the show. Trust me, it's not scary. All you need is a computer with some Wi-Fi. The producer does the rest. And you just have to think of what you want to do for a show. It's awesome. You can also do some advertising with us. And as you notice, advertising's becoming pretty killer here. You know, it's very simple. All you do is talk to the host, arrange something. He does all the legwork for you. Very simple and very inexpensive. Look at monthly or bi-monthly. Keep looking at the station because you never know when we're going to have deals going on. It's just such an amazing thing to do. You can also, I do believe the offer is still standing for anybody that wants to, you know, do for $100 a month. You can, thank you, Brenda. She says, I'm glad I found you. Good luck with your trip. Oh my God, thank you, Brenda. So literally for $100 a month, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get the advertising. You're going to get the, you know, air advertising on the website, not only with the shows. This is going to go quite a distance. I mean, we're going to get you known and out there. So take a moment to think about that, okay? Thank you for joining me today. As always, I've just been thrilled always for letting me into your home, your cars, into your workplace to listen to my voice. Just go do and keep talking. This has been DeEtte Ranae here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio.